Across the state of Karnataka go to the polls today in phase 2 of the Lok Sabha elections. And these include some very crucial names, namely North, South, Central Bengaluru, Mysuru, and a few others. Remember, the equations are for all to see. The Congress, high on its assembly election victory from just the last year, is hoping to translate some of that success onto a Lok Sabha victory, while the BJP, currently in power in 11 of the 14 constituencies that go to polls today, is hoping to fight some semblance of anti-incumbency on the ground, even as it scripts a bit of a comeback this time around. What's at stake? Who are the key candidates? And what really does the Bengaluru voter want this time around? That's some of the key aspects that we hope to bring you even as we kickstart our coverage of polls of elections 2024 from South Bengaluru. Let me just give you a bit of a perspective as to where we're coming to you from. We are in Girinagar. This is, of course, a crucial polling station in South Bengaluru. We're told it's where Tejasvi Surya, incumbent MP from South Bengaluru, will cast his vote shortly. We've seen multiple well-known names from Bengaluru cast their vote in the early hours of the morning. This includes names like Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy. Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, has just about cast her vote. We're seeing multiple names go out and poll in Bengaluru. It's hot, it's humid. This is a summer election. However, what we are seeing is a very healthy turnout, even in the early hours of the morning, as Bengaluru goes out to cast its vote in phase 2 of the elections. Just to give you a bit of roundup in terms of what the equations are like this time around. 14 constituencies will go to the polls today. North, South, Central and rural Bengaluru are the four most crucial among these, given the fact that they pretty much represent the city constituencies, one might reckon, or the capital constituencies insofar as the state of Karnataka is concerned. Remember, it is a stern test for all three parties, the BJP, the JDS and the Congress. And that's largely because while the BJP, JDS and the Congress featured in a three-way contest back in 2019, it is pretty much a head-to-head affair this time around, with the BJP and the JDS existing in alliance and the Congress choosing to go it alone. Remember, just to refresh your memory, the Congress is in power in the state of Karnataka and is hoping to translate a lot of its assembly victory to a Lok Sabha poll victory as well, even as it looks to maximize gains from the state of Karnataka. Now, interestingly enough, what we are told, at least that's what poll analysts tell us, is that the Vokaliga vote, insofar as the 14 constituencies here in Bengaluru are concerned, will be crucial insofar as these elections go. And that's, in fact, a stern test for leaders much like D.K. Shivakumar or H.D. Kumaraswamy, key personalities that belong to this demographic. While for D.K. Shivakumar, it will be a stern test of whether or not he can, mobilize large support as the Congress state unit chief for a personality like H.D. Kumaraswamy. Today's vote will also be a mandate on just how relevant the JDS is insofar as Karnataka is concerned, insofar as this state is concerned. A number of voters have lined up to cast their votes. Like I've been saying, it is quite heartening to see numbers, very healthily, even though these are early hours of the morning. Let's ask them if some of them would like to talk to us in terms of, what the issues are as far as Bengaluru and Karnataka are concerned. So you're a voter here. What are the key issues that you will be voting for this time around? As a Bengaluru voter, what are the issues that appeal to you?
That's a good question. I think there are three basic issues. One is with the governance, traffic congestions, and the regular civil supplies and what we need for living, like water. Yeah, water scarcity is one of the biggest challenges that we are seeing right now.
Absolutely. In fact, Bengaluru has been reeling under a water crisis this year around, and that's something that has taken most headlines. But do you think this is more of a mandate in terms of what you as the Bengaluru voter want, or do you feel it's more an election of, who gets to be India's prime minister or sits at the center next? Which of the two is it, or do you think it's a matter of both for that matter?
I think it's a matter of both. I think it's both. But selfishly looking at it from a Bangalorean, I think it is the former one than the latter.
Okay, all right. Anti-incumbency, do you think that is a factor this time around? The BJP, in fact, won 11 out of the 14 constituencies that are polling today. 5 years in, do you think anti-incumbency is a factor this time around?
I don't think so. No, I'm not sure about it, but I don't think so, from what I've heard. And
All right.
of,
And even as we speak, a large number of voters have made their way to the booth. We'll talk to a few of them even as we continue bringing visuals from the ground. So you're a South Bengaluru voter.
Yeah.
What are the key issues that matter to you this time around?
So if we have to look at the issues, right? So there are many issues. Not only it is in South Bangalore or somewhere else. So, but we would also have to look at the future and the candidates and the strength what we have to have. And also, I would suggest. See, there are. It is a educated sector which we are in, and I would suggest people would really think about this and vote to the people who really deserve it. That is what matters here in South Bangalore also.
I know for a fact that as far as Bengaluru is concerned, the issues are plenty, right? Traffic, water, there are multiple local issues. But given that this is an election with, a mandate insofar as who governs India for the next 5 years, is that going to be one of the key criteria that you think about while going about casting your vote?
If we see how they have ruled for this 10 years, right, I would suggest that, I would say that it really does matter. So the changes that we have from past 10 years and the impact that we are seeing in India, the growth that we have seen in India, that really matters, and I can tell that it will again be a same result. I feel that.
Okay.
I am not predicting or something like that, but I feel that we'll have a same result again for the future.
Okay, all right. Let's speak to this gentleman here. What matters to you most as far as the Bengaluru voter? Do you care so much about who is your next MP, or when you vote, is it all about who's going to govern the country next? Which of the two, or is it both?
If you look at it, it is like both. But the primary thing is you should send a message to the center.
Okay.
And that message should go to the worldwide. So what we are seeing currently, right? So that's what we are expecting more and much better.
Okay, all right.
So that's the message that we want to send from the Bengaluru South, that we want a strong government that can take us, make a much more better image of India across the world.
Okay, all right. So is that primarily what you are going to be voting for, or is it more matters of traffic, water, policy in the state? Which of these two will it be?
So it is both, but if you talk about the Bengaluru alone, it is contribution of both, that's the state and center. So that also goes to the state bucket. So it's a challenge that need to be addressed by both of them.
All right, okay.
So, but if you want to send a message across the world, then it should go as a collective vote from the Bengaluru South.
All right. Let's speak to a few more voters here. So what are the key issues for you this time around as far as elections are concerned? You are a South Bengaluru voter. What will you be voting for as far as electoral issues this time around?
So, right now GDP is fifth in the world for India, right? So, since Bengaluru is one of the key areas where economic growth is important, so yeah, voting is important if you want to see GDP point of view.
Okay, all right. So for you, it's more question of economic growth? Yeah. Okay. But, crucially, given that this is a Lok Sabha election, does the party that comes to power pan-India, is that a key factor that will decide your vote this year around? Or is it more about what there is for Bengaluru this time around?
So, internationally people see the leader of the country and try to invest in the major cities of India, right? So, Bangalore being one of the major cities, yeah, they see the leader and they invest in Bangalore.
All right. So that's something that will weigh heavily when you vote this year around. Ma'am, what about you? What are the key issues that matter to you this time around?
International growth, economy first.
And on that front, is there something that you would like to see from the next government? What's on your wish list, really?
Youth development,
Okay. All right.
progress.
Okay, lovely. So, it's a mishmash of a lot of issues, really. Absolutely. Transportation, traffic, water. These are key poll issues insofar as Bengaluru is concerned. But let's not forget, the election is also one that will determine who governs the country for the next 5 years. And a lot of these voters in Bengaluru have that in mind at the poll booth insofar as voting to decide who will play a crucial role in governing the country. Now, very interestingly enough, the fact is that the state of Karnataka, Bengaluru included, will be voting on the aspects of anti-incumbency. Now, given the fact that anti-incumbency has played such a crucial role over the next few years, one wonders whether that will continue to play a role in this election as well. On that note, we have a voter who would like to speak to us. Ma'am, what are the key issues that you will be polling on this time around?
Well, I really want the elected representative to take care of whichever area he represents, be it a state, be it even a ward, whatever it is. And whatever he is standing for, the principles for which we come here and we vote, I really want that person to be very vigilant about it, that it takes care, and that's his responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's not that after the elections we have to go and remind him that this is what you have to do, because he has taken it upon himself to do that. And mainly, we want the government this time round to concentrate. The majority of the people are also senior citizens. I really want the government this time to give a lot of incentives for senior citizens. The world over, they are doing it. So we want them to wake up to that fact. It's not that only the youth should be taken care of. There are a lot of still senior citizens for the next 2 decades.
No, absolutely, and I completely agree with you. On the policy front, senior citizen representation facilities is very important. And it's also very interesting you speak about issues that matter to Bengaluru.
Yeah.
But
And
yes.
one more aspect about that is there are a lot of middle class, a little, lower middle class or the upper middle class, and who are all now in the senior citizen category. So they have to be taken care of for the next 2 decades, and that's their responsibilities thereafter.
Right.
Now we come forward without fail to do our duty to elect. That's the franchise which we are using. Maybe the youth are still not so much into it, or maybe they are also. But we without fail do it. So we also want them to keep that in mind when they go in the next 5 years at least.
Right. Ma'am, I want to come back to something you said to me a little earlier. You want more representation from the local representative. That is something that you said in terms of the person who comes to power here. Have you been happy with how things have been in the next 5 years, or do you think it's time for change?
You mean earlier 5 years?
Yes, 2019 to 2024.
Reasonably, if you look at it in if you see the world over what's happening, I feel it's quite okay what we have now in our country, and especially in Karnataka also. It's all right. Things are still fine, but we want it a little more better than what it has been last 5 years or 10 years back. So that's what we are looking forward to, and of course development and other things should happen. And India, and reasonably, the 5 years have been quite okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you so much for sharing those perspectives with us. So like you were seeing there, senior citizen representation, facilities for senior citizens, a presence from the local representative really, these are crucial elements of what will decide which way the vote sways. Remember, we're coming to you from Bengaluru South. Tejasvi Surya, in fact, was voted to power in this constituency back in 2019, went on to become one of the younger MPs to represent, a constituency in the Indian Parliament. Even as we speak, he's up for a possible re-election here, even as he fights to recontest his seat. He's, of course, being given stiff competition by the Congress's Soumya Reddy. And let's give you a little bit of a breakdown on that front in terms of how these seats for Bengaluru pan out really. Like I have been summarizing, North, South, Central and Rural Bengaluru will be the 4 seats that go to polls, today as part of the 14 constituencies across Karnataka. Remember, most of these seats are currently BJP strongholds. In fact, the Bengaluru Central constituency has been a BJP seat since 2009. It is currently having PC Mohan as the incumbent MP, even as South Bengaluru, like I mentioned, has Tejasvi Surya as its incumbent. The question now arises, is there an anti-incumbency factor at play? Will the Congress have a chance at, unseating the incumbent BJP? That is the crucial question. Remember, the Congress possibly has the advantage of recent support on its side, given that it won last year's assembly poll here rather handsomely, might I add. But you just never know when it comes to Lok Sabha elections, whether the state continues to repose power or confidence rather in the presence insofar as the assembly is concerned, or will it choose to vote a different party, given that these are Lok Sabha elections and there are a lot of the mandate here will decide the party that comes to power over the next 5 years. But for now, Bengaluru North, South, Central and Rural are the four crucial seats to look out for. The issues: water, traffic, infrastructure, senior citizen representation, and just how much of a role the local representative or the MP from these seats plays insofar as governing these constituencies are concerned. Bengaluru is all out to vote today. We will see a steady stream of voters making their way. Just to summarize, in these 14 seats, the Vocaliga vote will play a crucial role. It is a litmus test for a name like H.D. Kumaraswamy, fighting to ensure that the JDS continues to stay relevant in the state of Karnataka. It is as much of a test for D.K. Shivakumar, who is trying to cement his place as the de facto power of the Congress in the state of Karnataka. This, of course, will be done by mobilizing and consolidating the Vocaliga vote insofar as the 14 as the constituency is concerned. Remember, both D.K. Shivakumar and H.D. Kumaraswamy belong to the Vocaliga community. So it is a test of fire for both gentlemen. It is as much a test for the Chief Minister, present Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well, given that the Mysuru seat goes to vote today, a seat from which he opposes a great deal of power and political representation. So what can I say? 14 seats, important issues, crucial seats, and it's an all-out head-to-head contest between the BJP, JDS combine on one side and the Congress on the other. We'll keep bringing you updates from the ground as Phase 2 gets underway here in the 14 seats of Karnataka. This is Jude Sannith signing off from South Bengaluru, where voting is presently underway.